are back. It's the KayFabeyBaby NRW Ring Generals Podcast. I'm Kuya P. And of course, I'm joined by my fellow trios wrestling podcast champions. Sean Mongold, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good. It's a great week. It's leading into a great weekend. I'm ready.
And of course, Webster Style, how are you, sir?
I'm good. It's another day, so I can't help but be thankful.
There we go. I love that energy. All right, guys, we just started, talking a few minutes ago before we came on. A lot going on, something I didn't even know about. It's gotten me into a funk. Terry Funk, rest in peace, rest in power, legend. Let's talk all the things.
Legend right there.
Right?
Yeah, man.
Website, why don't you start with, let's talk a little bit about Terry Funk first.
It's weird because I know he has a storied career, but when and I don't know how some people will take this, but the first thing that pops in my head when I saw that he passed away was Chainsaw Charlie. As like him in the hardcore battles or him and Mankind and WWF. Like that's what popped into my head. And I know he has a storied career before that, but I'm just like, man, he wrestled. He reinvented himself, especially in the hardcore era. And it was just really amazing knowing how much. I think he's a former NWA champion, if I remember correctly. But he's, synonymous with wrestling, just the Funk family in general, him and Dory, and how he really transitioned and changed with ECW and then WWF as far as becoming hardcore, and even subsequently, he's one of those wrestlers that was a true testament of learning how to navigate the business to really have longevity. And that's something that some of the legends today don't know how to do. They don't know how to change and evolve. They kind of stick with the same stick he who we don't talk about anymore, who is fuel for a lot of our childhood wrestling memories. Outside of that one instance, he has never evolved and changed. And even when he did, he kind of went back to that, except for the Mr. America thing. That was kind of cool change. But a lot of legends never really navigated to have a long career. Terry Funk is one of those ones that did it successfully and always understood how to reinvent himself. I would say a modern day equivalent is probably Jericho. Jericho is someone who knows how to constantly reinvent himself, and Terry Funk, in my opinion, at least of modern era wrestling, is one of the archetypes of how to do it well.
All right, Sean, what do you think about Terry Funk?
Man, so I don't know too much about Terry Funk. I've seen him throughout all the different circuits. I mean, he's been just iconic. He's just been everywhere. And I mean, yeah, I only know that about him. You know what I mean? I never followed him super close. I know he was obviously a staple in WWF. And he's worked with everybody. You know what I mean? He's had a thing with everybody. He was in ECW, he was in NWA, he was in, Japan, he was in WCW. He was in so much. And I know I know Eddie Kingston is a big Terry Funk fan. So I know a lot of people on Twitter were just saying get ready for All In, and Eddie Kingston's really going to fucking tear the fucking house down and tribute it to Terry Funk. So I'm curious to see what they do on Dynamite, to kind of reflect his career. Even though he wasn't obviously AEW, but he was still just a big staple in the wrestling community.
Definitely. Yeah. I guess Webster Style and I are the old heads in the room. Remember a lot of stories about Terry Funk, man. Terry Funk, man, I used to collect and read Pro Wrestling Illustrated, PWI. And then, so I remember when he came to WWE, but his WCW days, the independent stuff, just all the wildness. And then later on, the ECW days, man, him and Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, more so Cactus Jack, pre-Mankind shit, the real hardcore Mick Foley days of Cactus Jack against Terry Funk. just some wild shit, man. Just insane. Just one of the guys that really gave himself to wrestling. That who is what I know of Terry Funk in my memories of Terry Funk. These just would just do anything with their bodies, and Funk was one of those dudes, man. So rest in power to that dude. Wish I had an opportunity, like because I like to meet wrestlers and all that stuff. He's one of those guys that was on my list of just the times growing up and just memories of watching wrestling and falling in love with wrestling. So just rest in power to the Funkster, man. Hopefully, I'm curious, like you, Sean, if AEW will do something. I would hope WWE does something because he did wrestle for them. That would be pretty dope if they did that.
Yeah, I would assume so. That's the way I saw it. I saw it first on their Instagram page, on their feed, before I saw it anywhere else.
Yeah.
All right. So that's just a real quick rest in power to, Mr. Funk. But Sean, you mentioned some other stories you see. First, actually, before that, everybody tune in, man. We are right before AEW All In. We're going to get all in Webster style. And Sean, we're going to get into our picks like we do. So stay tuned for that. But we'll talk a little bit more wrestling news before we get there. So, Sean, you said you saw some other things that caught your eye?
Yeah, man. I mean, dirt sheets are going crazy right now, especially leading in, the world record breaking All In attendance. And then shortly after, of course, WWE has to do their shattered records for WrestleMania. So that was really fun. So it's just been eventful. But yeah, some of the things obviously happening, Ray Phoenix apparently has to drop out of the all-in fight because of visa purposes. You got the Cash Wheeler stuff going on.
Yeah, that was crazy.
In Florida. So that's still kind of up in the air. I hope that's not a thing, because I mean, that's, it's going to be a crazy matchup to see FTR and Young Bucks go at it again. So who's to say what's go, you know what I mean? Like, I hope it still happens. But one of the other big things, obviously, Edge wrestled his last match with Sheamus back to the last pay-per-view. I forgot the name of it already because I didn't watch it.
I know it was SmackDown.
Yeah, it was SmackDown.
Was it SmackDown? Oh, it was SmackDown. Oh, okay. And of course there was dirt sheets going around, and people were saying that apparently Edge went to WWE and gave them kind of like, hey, here are the things I need to stick around. And they were pretty much like, no, didn't meet him. That's why he kind of, called it quits with WWE. But from the people, back in WWE, they're thinking that he had such specific wants that was something that AEW probably already offered him. So he was probably going to WWE to see if they could beat it. And I think that kind of like tweaked in their head of like, oh, AEW offered him all of this. Like, we're done. So, Edge coming to AEW, I mean, that's a big twist. I don't know if Edge has been anywhere else besides WWE, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I can't remember a time when he wasn't in WWE, you know what I mean? So I have no clue. And so this is just going to be really, really cool, because obviously he has a lot of history with so many people at AEW. Obviously Christian, that's the main one. But like also like just like I like history with CM Punk, like that would be amazing to have them kind of like have like a go at it again. Fucking those were people like at each other's throats. Yeah. I think CM Punk had one of his successful like cash-ins on Edge to win the World Wrestling Championship back in like, I think it was like mid 2000s or like the end of the 2000s, I think it was. So it was gonna be really cool. And obviously, with Christian, being with Luchasaurus and Jack Perry being the Legend Killer, like I mentioned before the show. I mean, that's like, there's so much cool story that could happen, with possibly Jack Perry teaming up with Luchasaurus, screwing over Christian. Then Edge comes to Christian's defense, and then Edge and Christian versus fucking the New Age, Jurassic Express, whatever the fuck they're going to be called now. I don't know. But like, yeah, I mean, there's just so much cool shit. Like, I'm really hyped for that. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so many different talent. You know what I mean? There's so much new talent that Edge can wrestle. And like I said, I think that was kind of like a big hint. You know, when he cut his promo about wrestling Sheamus, he was just like, there's one guy I haven't fought here. You know, like that's not necessarily saying like he wants his retirement match to be with Sheamus, but out of everyone in the locker room and on the roster at WWE, Sheamus was the only person he hasn't wrestled. He comes over to fucking AEW. There's so many more people that he hasn't wrestled. You know what I mean? Edge versus Kenny, Edge versus fucking Eddie, fucking Edge versus fucking Ricky Starks, fucking run back CM Punk. I mean, there's so much. And if he comes out at All In, I'm going to shit a brick. I don't know how, because Christian's not slated for anything. I think he obviously has to do something for Christian when he debuts. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's his intro into it. You know, unless he like comes in and fucks with MJF and they automatically give him a shot at the belt. Maybe that's one of the stipulations for coming over to AEW. I don't know. But we'll see. You know, I'm very fucking giddy about it, man.
Yeah, you feel it. I get the vibes. Like this, it sounds like you're super hype. I think that would be dope. And like looking at his what he has done and where he could go. And I think, you know, in past episodes, I think for like Drew McIntyre, there's a bunch of different wrestlers I'm sure we could list that right now with what WWE is trying to do, it doesn't feel like they can fit into what their plans are storyline wise. And so thinking about Edge now, for instance, yeah, there's so much more, you know, stories that they could do over at AEW and matches we would all as fans would love to see, that there's just more arena for him to do what he can do with the time he has left, you know, because the brother is getting old and why not, you know, do these twilight years with his friends.
I mean, he looks amazing.
People he's grown up with, you know, and done stuff with and things the fans want to see, you know. He's probably not going to get that over at WWE.
We had, you know, obviously Edge and Christian versus the Hardys for so long. Hardys are back at AEW, can run that back. Also, Edge and Christian versus fucking Young Bucks.
Yep.
I mean, that's something that no one would ever have thought they were going to get that match.
Yeah.
No one. And if we get that, holy shit. Like, it's going to be awesome. So I can't wait, man. I'm super excited about it, but I'm also excited just to dive into everything All In.
Yeah, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. So that's super exciting. I love that too, Sean. Website, let me throw it over at you. Because I got one thing too before we get into All In, so I just want to make sure we all got equal time. What is something as well recently you've been digging in the dirt sheets?
Well, I want to comment on the Edge thing.
Yeah, please. I'm sorry.
One, I want to look that good when I'm 47, so I got 2 years to get in the gym before I hit 47. But this is a question I have, and again, it's not a hey, we need the answers now, but it's more food for thought. If that does happen, and especially with the talent that they have and how it's very, I won't say nostalgia heavy, but there are a lot of nostalgia acts and groups in AEW as far as wrestling is concerned, particularly WWE. I'm just saying, are we looking at that issue to say TNA face back in the day with really pushing the WWE guys, or even these kids? These are all legends. So these are all cats for the most part who are in the twilight of career. Even Punk don't have that long left. But these are the guys that are getting shine. These are the guys that are getting promo. Now, obviously, outside of the Bucks and Kenny and a couple other guys, somebody like Edge comes in or Adam Copeland comes in, you do not push him.
Yeah.
And so I'm just saying, like, while as a fan it would be great, I can only imagine what something like that could do to the morale in the locker room.
Agreed. Yeah.
I mean, I think Edge is one of those people who is kind of like if people got to pick Edge's brain backstage, I think that would help so much. Like, Edge is a staple. Edge is an icon. Edge is a fucking Hall of Famer. Edge is just all around just awesome. And he just seems pleasant to work with, to work in the ring with, to be backstage with. You know, he's also an actor, so he's done things outside of, you know, wrestling. So I think that's a really good mentor. You know, like I honestly, like, yeah, like I see what you're saying, but like I think they're at the point now where they're able to fill up so much fucking time, like between Dynamite, Rampage, Ring of Honor, fucking Collision. Like they have so much, and now apparently, like, you know, there's still that WB kind of talk, that Warner Brothers Discovery, whatever the fuck, you know, about them possibly getting streamed on Max and having, you know, wanting them to do more pay-per-views. So that's just more content, you know. I think they're going to have the bandwidth for it. You know what I mean? And then honestly, like they're trying to obviously get more views.
Right.
First time Edge and Christian coming back to wrestle
since Royal Rumble 2021.
Yeah, but like that was a Royal Rumble.
That wasn't them together, right?
That wasn't them together. That was just them. Like that was when Edge was just like, you know, oh my God, Edge is healed. He can wrestle again. So like we never got that. So I mean, if they put that together, that draws people in to watch the product, and then that allows people to view all the rest of the product. You know, that allows people to get eyes on Ricky. That allows people to get eyes on Danny Garcia. You know, on the Sammy Guevaras, you know, and I hate that he's like winning me over again. I fucking hate that fucker, but he's he's doing it. But yeah, I can see, like you said, like some people will probably be salty, you know, some people will probably be like, oh, this takes up airtime, but at the same time, it's just like he doesn't have that much longer, you know, like I don't think he wants to stay there more than 5 years. More than 2, probably. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's going to be a short stint. I think we're just going to get some nostalgia matches, you know, let him give some advice and be a mentor to some of the pillars and things like that, and just have some amazing matches before he fully retires. Because I think that's honestly, like, I mean, he's good. Like, he's an actor. He's got money. He's living up in fucking Canada in a fucking mansion with fucking old girl, with Beth Phoenix. Fucking the Glamazon. Like, I mean, he's living life,
right?
You know, like he's good. So I think he literally just wants to do this because he loves wrestling and he wants to have these matches before he retires. He doesn't care about the money, I don't think. I mean, obviously he'll take the money, but like I think he's just like really looking honestly about having those matches.
Makes sense.
All right, so Webster Style, as I was throwing it to you, we my apologies for not flipping it back to you for the Edge comment. But were there other things going on in the world of wrestling that caught your eye before I get into mine real quick?
I think on the leading into All In, the whole Cash Wheeler thing, just really curious as to if that's going to impact anything, because I'm not sure of the legal system, but since he hasn't been convicted of anything, I don't know whether that prevents him from traveling or getting a visa. I don't know. Usually, if you have a felony or something like that, you can't travel, you can't get a visa. But since he hasn't been convicted, but of course, well, it's for work. But are they going to let him travel with this going on? So those are questions that I have, how that's going to impact the show this weekend, if at all.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're all waiting with bated breath how that's going to go down. Very curious. One of the things that a couple things I got to bring in WWE and NXT. I know, Sean, you can't stand it right now, but I think on SmackDown though we had a pretty dope match. I don't know if y'all caught it, but Chad Gable, we spoke about it last week a little bit. He had a great match with Gunther. Did y'all see it? And can we talk about that real quick?
You're talking about Raw.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Raw. My bad.
Yeah. No, I definitely.
That's a workhorse. That.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
And he won. He's the first person to give Gunther a loss. He didn't get the belt.
And how do y'all feel about that though? We knew he wasn't they're gonna give him the belt. I think we could all admit that. But a way to let him win and show something was that it was, you know, the way that ended. I was like, okay, I'm good with that, you know, because again, I think Gunther should hold it. They're really wanting him to get to that, you know, that 1,000 day or whatever that is.
It's beating whose record was it? Honky Tonk. Yeah, it was Honky Tonk. So yeah, they definitely wanted to beat that record because we talked about that before. Just like for whatever reason they have a hard on for beating these records. I don't know, I don't get it. But whatever, you know, it just makes it harder for the next person. You know what I mean? Like, and Yeah, Chad deserved that. That was such a
Yeah.
good fucking match. And there's so many gifs and clips of like some of the shit that they were doing. I mean, it was just a brutal fucking slobber knocker, to quote, our good old boy JR. But it was just all around good. And to see that it was also produced by Jason Jordan, who was
Oh, I
obviously
didn't know that. That's awesome.
tag team partners, the old school Alpha Academy.
Yeah.
But to see that, it's just like so nostalgic too. And like, I think Shelton Benjamin came out and said some like really dope things about Chad Gable and like gushing about how great he is. And like, it's just so nice to see like all this shine. Like after the Shorty G shit and all the bullshit that Chad was thrown, like he tried his damnedest with everything he was given. You know what I mean? And Shorty G like annoyed the fuck out of me. And like I look back at it, I'm like, man, I'm like he was just trying to make something work with what he was given. And he, even with this, like he really got to show, I think, his comedic chops. And I don't think he got to, I think he kind of like forced his way into it, just kind of like how New Day did when they were fucking debuted as like the preachers, the ministers, essentially coming out in the suits and preaching at the crowd instead of being like, the positive. But they took the chance to kind of be these nerdy, quirky, funny people, and it just got over. And you can't really argue with the crowd. The crowd and like the merch sales kind of drive it, and then you get some leverage back and creative. So yeah, no, that was, I don't remember fuck all else. I think, there's a Judgment Day thing going on on Raw, which yet again was the same fucking match, the same fucking finish as the previous fucking week with JD McDonough with the we got the bobblehead, the Funko pop line.
That was hilarious.
That was a good one.
That was good. That was a good
dying.
funny. That was a good Cody promo. And yeah, no, that had me laughing. But yeah, man, that was definitely the highlight of the Raw, and I was glad I peeped that, because that was love it. What I didn't love about Raw, I'm sorry, I know you just wanted to talk about Chad Gable, but now since you got me on this fucking warpath, what they fucking did to fucking our girls, fucking Caden and Kat, that shit pissed me off.
I missed that. What happened to them?
They fought Chelsea Green and Piper. And yeah, man, like just like
I already know how that went without you saying anything.
Yeah, and it, like they gave them such like a huge like debut and big push, and now it's just like, I don't know.
They're just making them straight mid-card bullshit.
Yeah, mid-card bullshit, and it's just like they're an actual tag team, and here it is, fucking, already kind of a hodgepodge group with Sonya and fucking Chelsea, and now it's Piper Niven and Chelsea, which is another just thrown together group,
right?
And they just completely demolish an actual tag team. It just it just doesn't strike me right. Don't get me wrong, I love Chelsea. Like, Chelsea's amazing. Like, she has literally created her own like dynamic. You know what I mean? She's created her own opportunities just by being on Twitter, by just being like a really good fucking, workhorse. Like, she's just it. You know what I mean? Like, she has that character down pat. Like, she is fucking golden.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised WWE didn't fucking take that belt off her real quick after fucking Matt Cardona came out with it over at one of those promotions.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't pull that shit real quick. But yeah, that is Raw. And like I said, I hope they run it back. The Chad Gable Gunther match. I hope it's at a pay-per-view, and maybe at that point he'll beat the record, and maybe Chad does walk away with it.
I think he deserves it, and I think if anybody, just based on Gunther's whole persona, Chad is the person to do it. The whole Matt being sacred and everything, Chad is very much about that with regards to wrestling. It's going to the whole persona and everything. The Alpha Academy is about excellence. Yeah. So yeah, that's perfect storyline wise.
Yeah, I don't, and that's the thing. Like, unless they're going to try to build up someone else, like I said, the only other person I could see it doing because they want to fucking push him to the moon is LA Knight. But there's no real storyline yet there. You know what I mean? So unless they're going to wait another like 6 months to take the belt off them, like I don't see that build paying off.
Yep. All right. So let's the other thing I want to do before we get to All In, I know you're hungry to do it, Sean, but I gotta holler at my man Webster Style because he and I are checking out NXT, and like we've been telling you, Sean, you need to check it out. I definitely think the NXT are going to be the next big showstoppers, man. There's a lot of great talent in NXT, and this past week we had Heat Wave, Webster Style. I haven't watched it yet, but there were some super matches I know that they were going to be involved in, and I was just curious if you had caught it, or if not, I guess we'll save some feedback on it because, like I said, I haven't watched it yet.
I've caught some.
I wanted to know if you saw it.
I didn't watch much. I think the only thing I really caught was the Trick Williams Ilya Dragunov match.
Yeah,
I was impressed with that. I don't think Ilya Dragunov could have a bad match with anybody. More so, I was looking at Trick because as a character, he's breaking out of being that sidekick per se to Carmelo, and I'm interested to see how they're going to push him storyline wise. Because I don't expect them to push him to the moon, but they're doing a pretty good job of establishing him as his own man, and I'm impressed with that storyline wise. That's something that when you split up popular duos, the quote unquote sidekick doesn't usually fare too well as everything goes. So I'm impressed with what they're doing as far as storylines concerned. Other than that, I didn't catch much of anything, even online. I haven't been there this week.
Yeah,
last week.
Same. It's been some busy days for me as well. So maybe we'll talk more on what's going on with NXT next. KayFabeyBaby. But Sean, I'm gonna make you happy now. Let's get into All In. I'm gonna go all in on All In. Web Style, I hope you're ready too. A lot of things popping. Let's talk our predictions for the big event. First up, Aussie Open, Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher versus MJF and Adam Cole. Sean, tell me who you think we've got in the first matchup.
Oh man, I really want MJF and Adam Cole. I know it's not going to happen just because, it's just going to cause strife, for their main event match against each other. But at the same time, it's like we've been thinking like this double cross is going to happen for a while now, and they keep tricking us. So I don't know, man. It's so like I think everyone thinks that they're going to like hate each other after this, and this is going to be the big breakup. But I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they keep dragging this out and make this whole like MJF like babyface thing happen. I think it's going to be a great match. They're just those two, MJF and Adam Cole. I don't know how it happened, and I don't know how it will fucking work, but they're just so fucking hilarious. I don't know if you caught last week, but they went to like Outback to study
I caught it.
to study Aussie Open.
Yeah, we talked about it last episode.
Yeah.
and that damn kangaroo kick that MJF wants to start doing, man. I just they're just so good. But I definitely don't see them winning the belts. If they do, I'm going to be flabbergasted. But we'll see.
Okay, I think you're gonna be a lot of flabbergasted on All In, bro. I think there's gonna be a lot of flabbergasted moments for you. Webster Style, who you got?
Way back when we were talking about RH and the tag team title match they had with Aussie Open 1, I don't think any of us called Aussie Open winning the titles. I don't know. I feel like it would be better for the storyline for MJF and Adam Cole to win. Just me personally. I don't see how this match is going to go. If they lose, I feel like there are going to be shenanigans involved. I feel like if they win, there still might be shenanigans involved, but I don't know how to call this one. I really don't know how to call this one.
There's like so many different ways it can go.
Yeah.
And that's what's good.
Well,
yeah,
what if MJF cheats and Adam Cole's mad that he cheated and they won, and it leads into their match, even though they're champions now together. Now they got to fight each other, but now Adam Cole's mad that MJF cheated, and that's not like what Adam Cole is about, and then you still got Roddy Strong over there, just acting his ass off, being the side piece, essentially chasing after Adam Cole.
Let me put a button on this one. So, Sean, you got Aussie winning it. You don't see it. Webster Style is unsure. I'm gonna go ahead and take a little bit about what you said, Sean, which is them, prolong the story and all of that. That is why I think MJF and Bebe is gonna win it. Adam Cole's gonna win it, man.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna take those belts, and that's what's gonna help progress the storyline, because we're gonna get our winner, and we'll get to that prediction later, but that's gonna be the start in another part of the strife. But they're now tag team belt holders together.
Yeah,
that's how we continue this storyline. That's my prediction. And then the eventual strife, which breaks up the team, and then they lose the tag belt.
And then we got All Out coming shortly.
You know what I'm saying? So
I mean,
I'll put the button on that's where I think storyline wise, what makes most sense for me as a creative predicting some of this stuff. So we'll get there though. We got the big one, obviously. But I think to break the tie between you two, well, not really Webster Styles unsure. Well, I need you to commit, Eldon. but no, I feel you. It's kind of hard to predict. So,
I'm going with NJF and better than you, baby. That's what.
Better than you, baby.
So
I don't go.
To what you said, I think there's going to be a lot of flabbergasted moments, and I think that's going to be one of it. Definite shenanigans. That's the winner's going to be.
If they start off that way, it's going to be a great night.
Oh, it's going to be, man. I'm really looking forward to this, dude. To be honest. So let's keep it going. So next matchup, FTR, Dax Harwood. They still have Cash Wheeler on here, but we're not sure yet. We'll see. Versus the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. Webster Style, kick us off on the Bucks and FTR.
I'm going with FTR. I think mostly because I just don't want to see the Bucks have the title again.
Yeah,
I don't want to see them with the title. I don't like, from a storyline perspective, I just didn't like their runs with the belts when they've had them. I think the Elite is tired and played out with regards to how they've been booked in AEW.
Yeah.
So I'll put it that way. I'll leave it there.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's really hard. The Bucks are still, I think, going through like the Cody syndrome in AEW, where they can book themselves into whatever they want. And not to say that they don't deserve it, not to say they're not good, but it's just like kind of like that weird thing, like like they're the authority,
right?
Like we're supposed to hate the authority, and you are technically an EVP, an authority figure in this realm, and it kind of makes me not interested. You know what I mean? It's such a weird mental gymnastics that my brain does when I'm thinking about this. You know what I mean? Because like right when John Cena became like Vince's boy and was just like forever ingrained in it, like almost like he was just untouchable, that's when people started booing him. You know what I mean? That's when people hated him. And I feel like the Young Bucks and like even Kenny are at that point. You know what I mean? Like they are there forever. Like they just re-signed like a 5-year contract. You know what I mean? Like they're the boys for Tony. Like they're EVPs. Like, so it makes me kind of feel the same way that I felt about John Cena. It's just boring. And I don't know. I don't know what they can do to save it. Obviously, this has been a staple of a match. You know what I mean? I think this is like their third, fourth time going at it. I don't know if this is a rubber match or not. I can't remember. But they always just fucking show out. So it's going to be a great match as long as Cash Wheeler can make it over to London.
Right.
So I'm very excited about it, but I definitely see FTR walking away with it. I think FTR definitely has, more room for growth and more room for better storylines with other tag teams than the Young Bucks.
I'm with
you. That's a great way of putting it.
Definitely agree. I'm with you both. For all the reasons Sean said, I like the Bucks, but FTR I think should hold on as well. So go from there with a 3 down on FTR and head over to the 4-way match for the AEW Women's World Championship. Hikaru Shida, the current champion, versus Toni Storm, Saraya, and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Shawn Mongold, kick us off on this one now.
Oh man, like this is going to be a great match. I love having Hikaru Shida back. Like, it's so great. I'm so glad that she's got the belt again. She was one of those, pandemic champions who had the belt when there was no live crowd. And now she walks in as champion at a record breaking, 90,000 people, 80,000 people at Wembley. So this is just going to be such a good moment. I feel a couple different ways about this. Because Hikaru Shida hasn't had the belt for that long. I don't know how I'd feel if she dropped it this soon. But at the same time, you're in London. You have Saraya. She's been there for almost a year now. She hasn't been a champion. I don't know, man. I feel like they're going to give it to London and they're going to give Saraya the win. But at the same time, I think that causes a little bit of rift because her and Toni are together. And Toni was just the champion right before Hikaru Shida. So I definitely see some kind of fuckery happening and some infighting happening there. If they give it to Britt Baker, which obviously Britt Baker is like the AEW girl, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. Love Britt. I really liked her taking like this backseat role as Jamie Hayter came up. You know what I mean? Because it was just showing that she's pushing someone else. I don't want her to become Charlotte Flair, where I'm just annoyed every time she's on my screen because she's always going to get a belt shot. And she's always going to get the fucking belt. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't want it to be Britt. At the same time, though, Toni Storm has just like reinvented herself in this like Marilyn Monroe thing. Like she's just like fucking just killing it. So it's just like I wouldn't be mad if Toni won it either. So it's like if it's Hikaru or Toni or Saraya, I'm not mad about it. I think that Saraya walks away with it to give London, to give her that, big hurrah, 80,000 people cheering your fucking name. You're in your hometown. Like, I think they're going to do that fan service.
Right.
What do you got, Webster? You same?
Yeah, I'm going with Sean pretty much. I see it going one of two ways. Either Shida retains or they give it to Saraya. I can't see Britt or Toni winning. Like Sean said, I wouldn't want them to have a Shida drop it so quickly. But you are in London and you got the quote unquote hometown girl in the match, and the fucking pop that would happen if she wins would be unbelievable.
Definitely. All right.
For me, outside, because if inside, it would blow the roof off.
Very true. Yeah. To both y'all's points. I think you hit a lot of the points right on, Sean. With like in regards to Britt DMD, I think she knows better. Even though she's AEW's girl, I think she knows better. There's a lot more that she can do down the line. I don't even think she's in the picture, especially in this event. With Saraya winning it, well, actually, with Shida, yeah, we want her to keep it. It just, she hasn't had it long. All of that. It just, and she deserves it. She deserves it in a lot of ways. But the money, if I was to place some money down, hometown girl, and where you could build a future storyline, because like you said, there's animosity that they could build against her with Toni because of their history right now. That's the next storyline progression if she gets the title. And then future bouts against Shida for Shida to come back after it. And then as well as DMD, again. So Benton Man, I think all of us, the money's on Saraya because hometown. It just would be beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Just I think for a wrestling moment, I think outside of just the belt itself, it makes sense for that wrestling moment, women's wrestling. But I will say I'm sad to see that this is the only women's wrestling match on the card. But at least it's a nice one. It's a big one. And we have some players that, it'll make it a great moment. So excited for it. All right, guys, ready to head over to the next match. We got the tag team coffin match with Darby Allin and Sting versus the Mogul Embassy of AR Fox and Swerve Strickland, Webster style. This one's in your camp now. Where are we going with it?
I don't know. I mean, I think, how can I put it? I have not been the highest on how this whole Mogul Embassy has gone in this storyline and the constant people appearing and disappearing. And I know that's not Swerve's fault to some extent, but they haven't booked the whole thing well, in my opinion. So it's very hard for me to be excited about this match. As much as I love Swerve, as much as I have respect for AR Fox, I'm not excited about them. And then again, we talked about legends before. I don't get excited about Sting or Darby either, for that matter. But I'm thinking Darby doesn't need a push. He doesn't need the win. Sting doesn't need the win. So I'm going with Mogul Embassy.
Okay. What about you, Sean? Where you at? Is it Swerve's house?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely Swerve's house, baby. Everything what he just said, I'm in agreement. Mogul Embassy has been kind of a hodgepodge thrown together thing, it seems like. With like Brian Cage being a part of it and all these different people being a part of it, and now AR Fox a part of it. It definitely seemed like a lot of things were changing weekly.
Yes.
I do really like the packages that they were doing with, like beating the living dog shit out of fucking Nick Wayne. In his own like house, like throwing his dad's like picture, his dead dad's picture on the ground and breaking it. Right. Like there was a lot of like crazy shit going on. So I really liked the buildup. I just felt like, it was so weird to have AR Fox just kind of join, and all of a sudden he's like Swerve's like right-hand man immediately. And I think it was because they're obviously building to this match and having it at All In. And I don't think that was a long-term booking thing back in the day. I think this was kind of like brought up like, oh shit, like we can do this. And then last week, having Sting, kidnap old boy from Mogul Embassy, I forgot his name. And then turn into like the Joker Sting from back in the day. That was a cool callback. So there's some cool moments, but yeah, I don't think Darby needs to push. Sting obviously doesn't need to push. And also I'm tired of Darby.
Yeah.
Like he's been the same character, he doesn't seem like he's progressed. He hasn't gotten better on the mic. You know what I mean? Like you're keeping him kind of tied to this legend and Sting, which was great in the beginning, but now it's been like 3 years.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's not progressing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And also I'm tired of Darby winning all the fucking coffin matches.
Yeah, exactly.
Give it to someone else, please. So I think that would be really, really great for fucking Mogul Embassy to fucking beat Darby and Sting. And I hope they put Sting in the fucking coffin, man. Yeah. I think that's very symbolic. I think that would be like really great for them to like have the legend in the coffin, and then just be like this badass like tag team. You know what I mean? This very heelish tag team, and maybe they're the ones that takes on FTR. After all this, like I like to see that. Would be some good fucking matches, man.
Yeah, that would be a good match.
That would be some amazing matches. So we'll see what happens with that. What do you think?
Yeah. So both of y'all got Mogul Embassy.
Yeah.
I'm with that. I think it's Swerve's house and AR Fox. I'm with you on that. And I like the notion of them going up against FTR later down the road. Yeah, Darby and Allin Sting, they're cool, but just boring. Yeah. It's played, man. So
did you see the I think it was like interview that Swerve did, pretty much saying like, WWE fucked up and WWE will never get them back, like get him back. And like that's why he's like going out, like doing his own thing, like being his own creative team, and like just having these matches, and just like he wants all this to be like a big fuck you to WWE.
I think so, man. Swerve is talented as fuck, man. Just his whole presentation, man. He's got it. Like they messed up by letting that brother go, man. Like,
they messed up by letting a lot of people go.
That's especially him. We know that, but yeah,
and then they brought back Hit Row without him. Like,
that's just so weird.
Yeah, it don't work no more. It don't work.
No.
So let's keep it rolling, y'all. 6-man tag team match. The Golden Elite, Kota Ibushi, Kenny Omega, and Hangman Adam Page versus Konosuke. I always mess his cast up. Konosuke Takeshita and Bullet Club Gold. The Gremlin Juice Robinson and Jay White.
They're both gremlins, dog.
Yeah. Sean, talk to me. Who you got?
Yeah, so Takeshita and Juice Robinson and Jay White, man, this storyline has been everywhere. All right, so they have been attacking Kenny. You know, Don Callis is still attacking Kenny. Don Callis has Takeshita under his thumb. Don Callis had the whole thing with fucking Chris Jericho. Bullet Club Gold, I think, came out last week and attacked Chris Jericho. And then, you know, Sammy Guevara came back and saved him. So the storyline's kind of like, it has so many people involved. So it gets a little confusing. But as far as this match, like, obviously, great match. Like, Juice, Jay White, like, those two together have just been creating some amazing matches. Their stint with FTR, you know, a couple weeks ago in Collision was fucking masterclass. Adding Takeshita to it is going to be just giving them that powerhouse. And then obviously keeping Kota Ibushi back on with Kenny. It's going to be great. The only thing I'm not looking forward to is Hangman. I'm over Hangman. I don't know what it is, man. I just can't.
I agree.
I can't get behind him, man. I don't know what it is, man. I want to. I really, really do. But there's no, like, it. You know what I mean? Like, there's not it for him. And
I agree.
I'm so befuddled by it. As far as the win for this, I mean, I want it to be Bullet Club Gold and Takeshita, but I think they're going to give it to the Golden Elite because, I mean, you got Kota Ibushi out there again, you know, just like busting his ass. I mean, the last time they had him out there was blood and guts, like getting all bloodied and shit like that. And they won, actually. They won against Blackpool Combat Club. But yeah, I think they give it to him again, unfortunately. And I don't know where it goes from there. Obviously, Don Callis is going to be involved. He's going to try to interfere. But yeah, I know it's going to be a great match. I don't know where it's going to go storyline-wise. I really don't. So we'll see. Obviously, fuckery will happen. But I think Golden Elite still take it.
Okay. What about you, Webster Style?
I feel exactly the same way Sean does about everything. His analysis. I want the Bullet Club Gold and Takeshita to win, but I think they're gonna give it to the Golden Elite.
Okay. Well, I will throw it back at Bullet Club Gold, man, because they've been entertaining, man. Them Gremlin fools, boy.
Oh they are entertaining
with their cardboard stand-up of Jay White, man. Just hilarious, man. I'm enjoying what they're giving us. And yeah, I think going back to the point in regards to like Bucks that you were saying earlier, Sean, like Omega, we're gonna give it Omega. He's kind of like Golden Boy with that kind of like they hang in the same circles and all that shit. So, and Paige, you know, like, nah, give it to Bullet Club Gold, man. Have more, you know, play with what you got a little bit. So that's where I want to put it at.
I'll make one note though, and I think Golden Elite doesn't need the win.
Exactly.
They don't need it. Like, it doesn't help them. It doesn't further them. They're still the Golden Elite.
Exactly.
I think it's more beneficial long term, especially since Jay and Juice just got there. Is this their first big pay-per-view for AEW?
I think
as far as their first big pay-per-view match.
Like, I think so.
Who's
as
that,
a team?
Gold?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. So it would be more beneficial. I mean, these two guys you just brought in, you want to make them strong going forward. It makes more sense to have them win because you don't need to do anything with Kenny or Hangman or even Kota Ibushi. Like, really, they don't need it. They are, I guess, they're untouchable as far as AEW is concerned. Like the fans will love them. You put them in any storyline. So yeah.
There you go. Exactly. That's that Bullet Club Gold, y'all.
Yeah.
All right, let's head over to this match, man.
Oh boy.
And I'm curious who these to be announced additional contenders are going to be. So I would like also some predictions on that regard beyond your prediction of the winner. So the Stadium Stampede match, we have Eddie Kingston, Orange Cassidy, Best Friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta, as well as Penta El Zero Miedo. I know I'm fucking that up. Along with to be announced performer against the Blackpool Combat Club, John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta, along with 3 to be announced wrestlers. Webster Style, you're going to start us off on this one. Predictions and who do you think the to be announced cast are going to be?
No clue whatsoever. There are too many open spots for me to start like, oh yeah, it could be this person, it could be that person. I heard one name I saw, especially I think they're working as a producer now, is Chris Hero. Could possibly show up with his history with Claudio Castagnoli. I haven't really heard about anybody else. I haven't been in dirt sheets that much as far as possible rumors. And as far as who wins, I haven't the foggiest. I love Eddie though, so I'm going with Eddie's team. Just because. But in Blackpool is another one. They don't need to win and look badass.
Yeah, but they also just took a L at Blood and Guts. So, and that was to a fine-tuned team in the Elite, and this is kind of like a hodgepodge thrown together group. Because I can tell you right now, when the Lucha Bros came out to help out Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, OC, and Eddie, like I was kind of confused.
Right.
I was just like, what? And obviously now you have your to be announced because Ray Phoenix cannot get a visa and go over there. So that's why that's happening. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Continue.
No, you're good. Okay. I don't have much to say because I just don't know. I'm at a loss.
I love this. I mean, Wheeler and has been feuding with OC. So it's been this ongoing feud, and this is a great lead up. It's a Stadium Stampede match. We haven't had one in a while. This is going to be fucking epic. I can't wait. It's going to be great. For the to be announced, so there's not a lot on dirt sheets, right? So obviously you need 3 for BCC's group, and then you need 1 for Eddie and Best Friends group. Someone made a very good comment. I would love for them to bring in some women. So obviously for the Best Friends, you know, they had Chris Statlander for so long. Chris Statlander is a champion and is not on this card as of yet. Might change today or on Rampage, who knows. But she is a champion and she's deserving to have some screen time. So I think having her on this, and then for BCC having Mercedes Martinez pop up, because she is just that rough, tough, fucking beat him down. Fucking she vibes, you know, with that kind of aesthetic of BCC, in my opinion. And that would just continue their feud. So I think that would be dope. And then the other 2 people that are to be announced for BCC, fucking Pride and Powerful, man. Fucking Santana and fucking Ortiz.
Ooh.
And honestly, like,
I like that.
It makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that doesn't make sense is that I think Santana got injured at the last year's Blood and Guts against BCC when it was the Jericho Jericho Appreciation Society versus BCC. I think it was. I can't remember. But I do know that Santana and Ortiz have had feuds with Best Friends before, and that's when they had like the first I think it was like the parking lot fight. I forgot what it was called, but like they had the first one ever, and it was amazing. So that's why I'm thinking maybe Santana and Ortiz come back, because I've heard rumors that Santana is possibly cleared ? Even though apparently they, you know, Santana and Ortiz have like some heat against each other.
Yeah, I heard that too.
And I don't know what that's about. That's very interesting. But I would love for it to be them, and I would love for Mercedes to join them as well. and then fucking Chris Statlander join them, and then just have a brawl out.
I like that. All right.
As far as who's taking the win, I don't think BCC needs it, but at the same time, I think they deserve it because they lost their last big match. And also this, like I said, this is such a hodgepodge thrown together group of people, in the form of Eddie Kingston, Orange Cassidy, best friends. And yet again, Eddie Kingston, when he joins groups, it's typically for one reason. And this one reason is Claudio.
Right.
I don't think he's there to win. I think that's going to be that they're going to use that as a story. He's going to go off and do his own thing with Claudio, not worry about the team, and it's going to fuck over the team.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So take with that what you will, but I want BCC to win, even though I know they don't need it. I want them to have a win.
Okay.
Because I think they want to build them up to go against House of Black. And it's just like, how do you build them up if you keep making them lose to all these hodgepodge thrown together groups?
Matchup. And you're right.
So I think that's amazing, like Claudio Big Dude versus fucking Brody King. You got John Moxley versus fucking Malachi, and then Wheeler Yuta versus, Young Buck Buddy Matthews. The two Young Bucks going at it. So I think that's just such a good pairing. I don't know where that's going to come about, but like that's going to be, in my opinion, the next big feud.
Okay. I got you. Okay. It's hard for me on this one, but I like what you're saying, Sean, in regards to Bullet Club winning. But also like with Webster Style, my heart also says Eddie Kingston because just kind of cat he is. And he's going to give us all for the Funkster, with his performance. But I like your to be announced additions. I like possibly throwing Mercedes and Statlander in there. That would be dope. And I like the Pride and Powerful, man. That, with Eddie on the other side, that just is interesting, man. So some good pulls there, Sean. I like what you said on this one. This one's going to be crazy, man.
Yeah.
Let's head over to our next match, singles match. Will Ospreay versus the last remnant of the Jericho Appreciation Society, Mr. Chris Jericho himself. Webster Style, who you got, man?
I'm going with Ospreay.
Okay. Ospreay just straight up.
Yeah, straight up. I think it's going to be a good match, but I think right now, not saying Jericho needs to put people over, but Jericho doesn't need a win.
Yeah, I don't think Jericho needs to win.
And I think that this is just, I think Jericho's in that point where he's just doing dream matches right now.
Yeah.
Honestly. So it doesn't matter if he wins, it's just he's giving the fans things they've never seen before. So I commend him on that.
Same. Sean, who you got?
Definitely Will. I mean, look where you're at. You know what I mean? Yet again.
I didn't think about that. You're right.
Look where you're at. That's his stomping grounds. Chris Jericho, like you said, doesn't need to win. I do like the story that they're doing. The Don Callis thing and him choosing to join Don Callis and Don Callis not thinking he would join and having the picture of him holding Chris Jericho's
That was
head.
good.
That was such a good mind fuck, and it was a good way to have Sammy come back in and be like the good guy Sammy and trying to get people to like him again, because even though he left Chris Jericho and the Jericho Appreciation Society, he still cares about his mentor. Obviously some fuck shit's going to happen. Don Callis is going to be involved in some way, shape, or form, just like he is going to be with the Golden Elite and the Bullet Club Gold match. Bullet Club Gold might make an appearance out here. Sammy comes back out, and then maybe it's going to be, Sammy and fucking Chris Jericho versus Bullet Club Gold for the next foreseeable future. Maybe that sets that up. And I think those will be some amazing matches right there. But yeah, Will Ospreay definitely is taking this. Will's going to do some crazy shit. Chris is going to eat it and sell it. And that's all I can say.
All right. Let's head over to the so-called true AEW champion, CM Punk versus Samoa Joe. Sean, take us through it.
Man, so they're calling this the real world championship. It's very funny that they're putting this back to back with the main event, the MJF and Adam Cole match for the AEW World Championship. It's very interesting. I don't know what they're planning with this. But the CM Punk's mojo, obviously, forever feud. CM Punk just got a win over him. You know, like Samojo just attacked him last week. You know, like it's just it's so much good shit. You know, it's good stories, good long-term booking. Obviously, they've been fucking fighting forever. You know, CM Punk finally got his first win. And you know, we're gonna see what happens here. Because I really don't know. You know, like everyone's expecting like a big CM Punk heel turn. How do you turn heel against the biggest heel of them all? Right. You know what I mean? Like Joe is a fucking heel through and through. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, I don't see them taking this real world championship off of CM Punk. So I definitely see CM Punk retaining. I just don't know how. You know, maybe Ricky comes out, you know, to get Ricky some shine and fucking stomps on CM Punk and gets Samoa Joe disqualified, you know, just to protect Joe. But yeah, I see CM Punk winning this all day. It's going to be a fun match. You know, Joe's been having some fun matches and he's just been having a ball with his shit lately. So I can't wait to see what they got planned.
All right. Webster style, who you got, man?
I'm pretty much in the same vein as Sean. I definitely say Punk is going to retain. I feel like he's going to retain via DQ, but I feel like Joe just going to like snap and get himself disqualified.
Okay.
I like that.
I can see that.
Yeah. All right. You know what? I can't argue any of that. I think both those points are valid. Yeah. Let's keep it going. Real World Championship to the true AEW World Championship, even though CM Punk claims that. But we got the big one of them all. We started off with these cats. We're going to end with these cats because, like I said, they're going to be tag team champions. But now here's going to be the start of future storytelling. I'm telling you. I think we all know this. AEW World Championship, y'all. Webster style. MJF, Adam Cole, kick us off.
This is hard. This is so hard. On one hand, I'm thinking I don't see them taking the belt off MJF because they need to work up to that reunification with Punk, and that's the match that everybody wants to see. However, it is Adam Cole.
It is.
And
baby.
I think that would be awesome for him to have the belt in AEW, to be the top guy, especially when I was just reading something about him before we started, and he was going back and how they wanted to bring him up to the main roster as the manager for Keith Lee. And I'm thinking, we all thought there was some dog stupid. Well, we know whose idea that was.
Yeah.
But the fact that then he can turn around and be the main guy at the quote unquote number 2 promotion, I think would be a testament to how good he is.
Yeah.
But I still don't think they're taking off MJF. I think MJF is money. And I think this is long-term storyline booking that this heel turn. I don't feel like the match means as much now compared to if there's some sort of turn. That's just me.
I have thoughts.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
I'm listening.
Go ahead, man.
So obviously MJF, like you said, agree with you 100%. They're not taking this off MJF. Like they're building up to that CM Punk MJF, you know, meet up again for that reunification. Don't know when that's going to happen. We'll see. Maybe it's going to be the first pay-per-view on Max when they finally pull the trigger on that. I don't know. Maybe that's what they're building up to. Who knows? But I think this is going to be a great match.
Yes.
Following the vein that you said earlier, if they win the ROH championships, I really like this story, right? Because it plays into what I'm about to say. They're fighting, they're going. Fucking Roderick Strong comes out, you know, desperate side piece, and he tries to help Adam Cole. But he inadvertently gets Adam Cole disqualified. So Adam Cole loses. It saves both of them. But now it starts more tension between Adam and Roderick Strong. Kingdom comes out to help out Roderick Strong. MJF, Adam Cole are ROH champions. Now they go to ROH to fight Kingdom.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I like that a lot.
You
And
see
then-
what I'm saying?
Yes.
It continues their group thing. He didn't lose clean. Maybe eventually they'll have to do another rematch because, hey, bro, we're bros. I got DQ'd because of bullshit, but like, let's handle them real quick for the next month or two. And then, run through ROH real quick, have them both on ROH for a couple tapings. That brings more people to ROH.
And then
watch.
gives the belt to true ROHs in the kingdom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know if they drop it to them.
They got to drop it to them.
You think so?
Because that'll then create the void again between the two of them, being upset with each other.
Yeah, I don't see them losing it immediately to them. I
Not
see it like dragging. Yeah, I see it dragging out. And seeing what happens. It's probably going to be another maybe it's going to be like an ROH pay-per-view or something like that they drop it. And just see, maybe that's starts the spiral downfall of MJF and Adam Cole. But yeah, I definitely like that because they've been milking this side piece Roderick Strong thing for far too long for it not to do something. Yeah. You know what I mean? And this is the perfect opportunity for him just to majorly fuck up and fuck over Adam Cole, for Adam Cole to be like, you know what? Fuck this. You're not a true friend. MJF, Max is my real friend. It's just gonna be so good.
There's so much more story there, man. So much
man,
that you can build off of, bloodline shit. We've been loving the bloodline stuff and how they've been starting to fuck up a little bit, but it's years build up. If they do that with this, there's so much richness I can see as a creative. Do that shit.
Yeah, no, definitely. This is where it's going to be. And like I said, we got Dynamite later tonight. I did hear that there's possibly going to be another announcement for another match for All In. So we'll see what that looks like. I'm hoping it's another women's match, or at least announcing that they're going to be a part of this, Stadium Stampede. Because I would love, Tony's really got to break out of this one, women's match.
Yeah, we're even having something event at the 0 hour or whatever it is, whatever they call it.
Yeah, the pregame.
Yeah, there's no reason why there shouldn't be a women's match there.
Yeah, or not Ember Moon, Athena coming out. Yeah, right. You got the have her come out and fight somebody.
Who's the TBS champion? Statlander?
Chris Statlander, yeah. And that's what I was saying. She's just feuding with fucking Mercedes Martinez right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Where is she as far as this card? Why is that your I guess mid-card women's championship not on
nowhere?
Card?
Not nowhere. I mean, even the TNT.
That's why I like the introduction into the stadium match.
Yeah, the TNT one isn't there.
That would be cool there.
Yeah, TNT, Jack Perry is not on here. There's a bunch of people still missing from this card. Well, so we'll see.
Yeah.
All right.
Keith
I kind of want my girl Mercedes Moné to come back, bro, and show up. I've been waiting on this. This would be a huge event, made even bigger if my girl shows up there. Just to say hi.
If Saraya wins that pop, and then for Mercedes to come out and just kind of point down, that pop, dude, because they were NXT, they were the start of the revolution.
Yo.
And then they can fight over that. Who was the actual start of the revolution, the women's revolution?
Bananas. That would be
because
bananas.
Paige thinks it's her, and then the 4 horsemen of wrestling.
They want to make this so big. I think this is how you do it in a lot of different ways, man. Yeah. But well, let's cap it off there, gentlemen. I know we could probably talk for a while. We'll definitely do our all-in recap next week. Talk some other things going on in the world. But it's been a fun ride with y'all as always, man. Webster Style, tell the world what you got going on and what else they can check you out at, man.
This week 159 just dropped my interview with Spirit Faye, talking about Broforce, talking about Myth. Is it Myth? I forget the fragrance of the week this week, but go to webstar.com. You'll find out. Also, my interview with Jessica Starling drops today at the time of this recording a couple hours ago. So check those out. And you can find me right here. But if you really want to find everything, you can go to webstar.com.
There you go. Shout out to my man Webster Style, Sean Mongol, Nerdvana Experience 2 coming up soon. What's good?
Hey, yeah, we got Nirvana, which is our festival. It's Friday through Sunday, filled with events. We just announced all of our performers, our headliners. We got a concert, a nerdcore concert and karaoke happening, actually with some wrestlers. So we're going to have some wrestlers come through, do some karaoke. We have a bunch of other things happening. We have our main showcase on Saturday. We have a bunch of workshops happening Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then we do like a little vendor kind of swap and shop on Sunday. So that's going to be great. That's going to be September 22nd through the 24th. So yeah, we're super excited about it. Other than that, my birthday's coming up in 2 weeks. Super stoked for that. We're going to New York Fashion Week. We're going to be doing shit up in New York, and I'm just going to be seeing all my New York buddies. So yeah. Looking forward for the next couple months.
There we go. Shout out to you, bro. Everybody go get your tickets for Nerdvana. My love to you both, gentlemen. Always a pleasure. For me, it's the Legend Kuya P. Twitter, TikTok, IG, Hive, Blue Sky. And of course, here with Sean and Webster Style all the time, giving you the KayFabeyBaby at the NRW and at Release Wednesday where nerds rule the world. That has been another episode. We went all in. Are you going all in? Let us know in the comments, and we'll talk about what went down next week, y'all.
You come in my face, I'm gonna fight you.
Well, you're not gonna bust a nut anytime we're in the ring.
I'm gonna get off by cranking your knob just a little beyond the breaking point.
When I get my hands on you, I'm gonna eat your ass like a pot of collard greens, baby.
I'm gonna stretch his ass like it's never been stretched before.
You can hide behind that commissioner stuff just so long until I jerk a knot in your ass.
And if you don't think I'm big enough, then you grab a hold of me, and you'll know that I'm growing, my man. Within your hands, I will get as big as I need to be to do the job on you.
All right, just jerk Helmsley off.
There's one part of our bodies that's soft, and it ain't soft all the time, if you catch my meaning.
I'm gonna come on you like nobody's ever come on you before. Just you and I getting it on like two men should do.
Oh, that's it, right?
Boy, and I'm coming hard.